Hello and welcome. So, if you're getting ready to become a language teacher, you're going to be spending a lot of time looking at student errors. But what if I told you those errors aren't just mistakes to circle in red ink? What if they're actually a secret roadmap, a little window right into your student's learning brain? Okay, let's get into it. We've all seen a sentence like this, right? It's a classic. And your first instinct, of course, is to just correct it and move on. Played, you'd say. You need the ED. But just hang on a second, what's really happening here? And that is the huge question we are diving into today. Because honestly, understanding the answer here is going to fundamentally change how you see your students, their struggles, and your entire role in the classroom. It's really the difference between being just an error corrector and becoming a true learning guide.
To really get it, we need to back up a little. We have to understand that the way we think about learner errors has gone through this major revolution. We've moved on from just blaming mistakes on a student's first language to something way, way more insightful.
You see, for a long time, the main idea was this thing called contrastive analysis. And it was pretty simple. If a student's language is different from English, well, that difference is going to cause an error. It's all about interference from their native tongue. But then, researchers started noticing something. A lot of the errors students were making just couldn't be explained by their first language at all. And this led to a whole new approach: error analysis. Instead of just blaming the old language, we started looking at the errors themselves as clues to the learner's own developing system. In that developing system, it has a name. And this is probably one of the most important concepts you will ever learn as a language teacher. It's called interlanguage.
Get this, your student isn't just speaking a broken version of English. No way. They are speaking their own language, an interlanguage. It's this unique system that has its own logical, consistent rules. Now, those rules might not be the rules of English yet, but they are not random. It's this living, breathing system that's always changing, and it shows us exactly where that learner is on their journey.
And we can see this happening right here. These are a couple of writing samples from young French speakers learning English. Look closely. See how both of them tend to leave off the third person's S on verbs? They'll say, he ride a horse instead of rides. And they also drop the possessive marker, saying Santa Claus pocket instead of Santa Claus's pocket. So here's the kicker. The fact that they're making the same kinds of errors tells us they're following a similar internal logic. They haven't mastered the English rule yet, sure, but they have their own interlanguage rule. Something like verbs don't need special endings. You see? Their errors are systematic, and that system is exactly what we need to understand. And this leads us to probably the biggest aha moment in all of second language acquisition research. It's the idea that the path learners take isn't just systematic, it's also incredibly predictable. This is a real game changer for teachers.
Yeah, you heard that right. Tons of research has shown that for a whole bunch of grammatical structures, learners go through the exact same stages of development. It doesn't matter if their first language is Spanish or Mandarin or Arabic. These are called developmental sequences. This is a fantastic illustration of the whole idea. Just take learning how to say no. Almost every single learner starts by just sticking no at the very beginning of a sentence. No bicycle. Then they figure out how to move it inside. But they don't have the helping verbs yet, so you get he no milk. Next, they discover the magic word don't, and they start using it for everything, even when it's wrong, like I don't can sing. It's only after going through these predictable steps that they finally master the tricky roles for negation in English. And we see the exact same thing when it comes to forming questions. It's the same story. Learners don't just magically jump to asking perfect questions. They start simple, maybe just one word with a rising tone. Dog. Then they learn to just say a statement and make it sound like a question. Then they figure out what words go at the front, but they don't flip the verb yet. They have to climb up these 6 predictable steps before they can nail those really complex questions. And it's not just about sentence structure either. This predictability applies to all the little bits of grammar, the things we call morphemes. Decades of research have shown that learners pick these up in a pretty set order. That progressive ing in walking, almost always learned first. The plural s on cats, that comes pretty early too. But the regular past tense ed and that really tricky third-person singular s, they come much, much later in the journey.
Okay, so right about now, you're probably thinking, this is great, but come on, their first language has to matter. And you know what? You're absolutely right. It does. But its role is way more complex and subtle than that old interference idea we talked about.
So, think of it like this. While these developmental sequences are like a universal highway of language learning that everybody has to travel on, a learner's first language is kind of like their personal car. It can definitely affect how fast they go and maybe which lane they like to drive in, but it doesn't really change the route of the highway itself.
So, for example, a student's first language has the biggest impact right at the very beginning, before their interlanguage has really had time to form. And sometimes, if a structure in English is just completely alien to their own language, they might just avoid using it. And of course, just like anyone, when a learner gets tired or stressed, they might fall back on the patterns they know best, the ones from their native tongue. But on the flip side, if their language has a feature that's similar to English, it can give them a huge head start.
So what does all this interlanguage, developmental sequences, the role of the first language, what does this all mean for you, the future teacher standing in front of a real classroom? Well, it means your mission is changing. This right here is the key takeaway. You are not a human spell check. You're more like a detective and a guide. Your job is to look at an error like he no milk and not see a mistake, but see evidence. Evidence that the student is solidly in stage 2 of learning negation and they're getting ready to be guided towards stage 3. In practice, this means your help can be so much more targeted and effective. If you know a student just isn't ready for that third person S yet, you won't waste their time and your energy trying to drill a rule they simply can't acquire yet. Instead, you'll focus on what's next for them on their path. It means you gotta be patient. You have to understand that learning is messy. It's not a straight line. It means you get to celebrate the clever, systematic, and completely natural journey your students are on. So I'll just leave you with this thought. Every single error your future students make is like a breadcrumb on a trail. They are showing you exactly where they are and where they're trying to go next. The question for you is, are you just going to sweep the crumbs away, or will you use them to help your students navigate the path? Thanks for tuning in.